for you, $136 million project. We're on time, we're on budget, which are the 4 best words you want to hear in a project. We're getting to the point where we're coming around the east side now, closing up the building completely with the glass. Once we do that, we can start on the interior finishes, which will include the flooring, will include the seats, the area that is everything that's sensitive to humidity and temperature and things like that. So what you'll see, and the site is a working site, there's about 350 workers on any one day in this site. They're only working 1.5 shifts now. They were working triple shifts during the beginning, during the demo phase. So we're at the point where there's a lot of people on, doing a lot of stuff. Some of the areas in Pauley are not accessible to us today, but for the most part, I was just in there with another group. We can get around. So, thank you.
This would be correct.
So this is the east side of the building, was the front door. This used to be gate number 1 on this side. It is the iconic side from our perspective. As we looked at the architecture, and we looked at this about 5 years ago in terms of what the intent would be for this building, the first people we talked to about the building was Coach Wooden and the Pauley family. And the one thing that was the consensus was, don't knock down the building, let Pauley stand, do what you need to do with the infrastructure, do what you need to do with the improvements, and there were lots of them that were required, but keep the old building. So with that architectural intent, what you'll see in here is old Pauley under glass, basically. There's a lot of glass on this building, there's a lot of terracotta, there's brick, which are, and there'll be some Miami Buff concrete. Those are basically the pallet tools on this campus that we have to work with. So we think we've put those all together on this project and put them into a building that's going to stand out amongst the rest of the buildings, but still work within the fabric of the university. So this side again will be the iconic side. It is Wooden Way. Once you get inside, this concourse interior will be called Wooden Way. It's sort of our homage to Coach. We'll talk about Coach as the person, as the coach, and as he left UCLA, and we'll talk about the legacy left behind. Okay. I'll talk about this area here. So this area, you guys, is important to us because this is the only laydown area for this contractor. This is it. So every week they had to bring everything they needed for their work that week. Once this is done, and he's starting to get out now, which means he's putting the hardscape back, this will become a park. And this will be kind of a quiet area where people can hang out. When we don't have an event here, if we have an event here, this is a place that everything will be illuminated inside. You can see Pauley Pavilion. This will be a very pleasant, quiet side, but it will also lend something back to the university. So this area is what we call Wooden Way, right? And so this is, we have some of the infrastructure changes we made on Pauley Pavilion, or requirements, if you will, of what people are asking for. A concourse that goes all the way around Pauley Pavilion now. Just not the interior concourse, but a new exterior concourse. So this is Wooden Way. It's about 25 feet. We have the same amount on the south side, and we have a lot larger on the north side, which we'll take you to. Just some of the stats about what we've done. We've improved the restroom counts by about 4 times the number for women, 2.5 times the number for men. We have about 30% more concession points than we had before. We're still going to activate our South Marketplace like we had before. But what we think we've done is add all this infrastructure. We've made the stairways safe. They now have rails. They now have equal footing going down. So everything that was asked for, we put into this project. And the other benefit is we have Old Pauley Pavilion. So the one thing that I want you to notice is these dark gray areas. You'll see these across. Everything that we do is with a purpose. This is every time you see one of these, this is how you enter into the bowl of Pauley Pavilion. And there'll be graphics on the front of these all the way around. 16 different graphics that will tell the story of Pauley Pavilion. So the sports that have been played here, the different concerts, the graduation, the championships. So this is all about celebrating the building and celebrating UCLA. About 30% of our clientele are patrons who come into this gate, so we changed this area a little more generous because we expect this to be one of our main entryways. So stairway's gone, bigger entryway concourse. They can go from there to the marketplace. They can come down here Wooden Way. They can get to the seating sections really quickly. One thing we've also done is all these access ways up to the upper level seating now are all similar. You probably didn't know this, but there used to be 4 different ways to get up to the upper level. All these now, we've made this building so it operates much more efficiently. We can staff it with 1 person here. We can staff it with 1 person here. We can make sure that people are going up if they have upper level seats. If they have seats that are in the middle level, what was the middle level, or the arena level, they'll come in this way and they'll walk all the way down. Sort of a different way of utilizing this building or accessing this building than we used to. We used to have people coming in the corners and going down. Now they can use the whole concourse to get down to their seats. So this area here, the bowl, and every time I do a tour with a player who's coming back to see this for the first time, they're sort of seeing the same thing. And that is the bowl lifter maybe which is good. We still have 28,000 square feet of space down here. That floor goes in this week. Wide. New seats come in at the same time frame. You can see the speakers are already up in the roof. In the middle of those will be a brand new HD scoreboard. Around the edges on the new yellow soffit up there, you see an open space. That will be an area where an LED board will go all the way around the pavilion. On the corners, there will be a 6-foot LED. That is our hustle board that's stacked on the corner. The roof has been repainted. The new seat is already in at the bottom. You can see that. We want everything on the floor in before we put the floor down. We want the floor to be the last thing in. So, equipment running over it, and it's drifting when we open up. Everything's changed about this. It's actually flipped 180 degrees. The benches that used to be on the south side for our home benches are now on the north side. And the reason being, that tunnel you see over to the right, that's the tunnel back to our locker room. So our home bench will be on the east corner over here. The media now flips to the north side, the south side, sorry, treating the bench still, so it's the same relative position. Students will be sitting on the south side, on the arena level. They'll also be on the west side on the arena level, and then they'll have their usual seats in the upper level. Changes on the floor. The opponent's locker room will be in the general vicinity where our home locker room used to be, on the west side of the court. We also have a cheerleader's locker room for basketball. We have a big new restroom complex down there, which makes the guys happy because we used to be one area with one John, that's all we had. Now we have lots of them. We also have another restroom complex right under where we're standing, and then the media room is under where we're standing too, and we'll finish up the tour by seeing that. We've added a concession stand on the floor level. We'll have a concession stand where it was over here, and we'll have another one over by the student section, which is really a lot more user-friendly to the students. On the stairways, what I was talking about, the step tread patterns are now consistent. We also have a rail system that goes down, so it gives people a little security going down. Any questions, guys, at this point? Seat capacity went from 12.8 to 13.8. It wasn't really a programmatic element of what we were doing. It just happened to be that way. And it's operational. We have about 600 new seats in the upper level because we actually put in a row 1 where there never used to be. That's going to help us so people don't walk across in front of people's views. And we add about a little over 400 seats on the floor. And one thing you guys might have noticed is, well, 2 things maybe. The court used to be about 12 feet off center. Center 2 was all skewed to the east. And that's because Coach Wooden had a soft court on the west side. So that was from the very first of the pavilion. That's what we used to have, okay? So now we are able to center the court, and we'll no longer have this 30-foot gap between the seating and the inline. we're bringing the end seats out another 4 or 5 rows, so now it takes up that gap. And we also have 2 rows of courtside seating on 3 sides of the court. So a few things I want to show you here. This is the northeast entry. There are 5 main entries in the Pauley Pavilion. Northeast, the north, which is our new front door. The northwest, which will be the student entry. I'll show you that in a second. That's the Pauley area. The southeast that I showed you, and then there's one over by Pauley Street. That's 5 entries into the building, and then 2 entries into the marketplace. And the marketplace is considered inside the building. There's 7 different ways to enter Pauley Pavilion. So we're going to be looking at the north contour. This is 40 plus feet wide, 25 feet wide. This is where the crown jewel of this project. This is our welcome hall. This is our graphic opportunity to show the way to DCLA. We'll have a welcome hall in the middle that will talk about our national championship, not only in this building, but with athletics, 108 events at 8. And then we have these walls. You see the walls that are sort of canted out. These will be the best of the best of the consensus survey that we did of athletes from every sport who competed in this sport. Okay. We won't be able to get down to the end. That's a hotbed of activity right now. At the end is what I was talking about. That's the student den area. There's a plaza out there where the students can assemble prior to the game, do their thing. That's how they'll come in. Ticket office is down there, an auxiliary ticket office. We'll still use the main ticket office over here for night of event. There's a coffee stand right behind you. Just outside this coffee stand, this is where the statue of Coach Wooden is going to be erected. Pedestal outside here. Part of the new give back to the area that will be the new brew and walkway. So we're going to go down the back way to get to our Pavilion Club. This is a club, membership club that will be available pre-game, halftime. We'll figure out if we can use it after the event. But it's not only important for basketball, it's important for the university community. We don't have many of these kind of rooms on campus. Something that holds over 300 people in a sit-down or a casual basis. Has a bar in there. It's the only place in the building that will be serving alcohol, and alcohol will not be allowed out of that room, but that's the only place in this building that will serve alcohol. Okay, so this is the Pavilion Club. What you're looking at across the way, that's the main stairway down from the concourse. We also have elevator access to it, to this area. So again, this is a room that holds about 300, 350 people, depending on how we're going to use it. It's also a room that we have a track system here, and we can subdivide this room like a hotel grand ballroom and make it 2 sides. We have lots of video opportunity. We're going to have a large screen video against that wall, another one against this wall, another one against that wall. In that area back there, 3 55-inch TVs behind a really nicely appointed bar. Designed it myself. So that was an important part of this building, at least at this part. So this will, like I said, this will be a great opportunity for the campus to utilize this. We're going to use it for some of our Olympic sport banquets that we currently do in our Hall of Fame. So this is going to be big for us. We have a kitchen in the back. Some storage back here for all the infrastructure we need for tables and chairs, but this will be good for us.
So the only place on campus that will serve alcohol?
No, actually on the faculty center, or if you have a catered event in a controlled room, you can do it there with on a permitted basis. So this, in essence, this is the controlled area that we can't take out. I mean, this building has so many hooks in it for future of what we don't know about, and primarily a lot of that is in the communications field in terms of telecom and wireless and all that stuff. We have an infinite highway that we can build to hang anything on. That's number one. Because this is a renovation, we don't have a lot of elbow room to do anything new in terms of construction, but we certainly believe that on our first go-round, the appointments that we've done in these areas are going to be top end. For instance, this ceiling that you see that's open now, this comes in with a wood ceiling that goes down that wall. So you can imagine that's going to be a great look to this room. So, you know, we can do some additions, but in terms of new construction, we're probably a little limited. Everything you see about here, this is a question that usually comes up, is what you see from wall to wall is really the hole we dug back 2.5 years ago, if you guys remember, right? So this was the hole. This was the big hole that went all the way down to the floor. That is actually the outside of Pauley Pavilion. So where those columns are around Pauley Pavilion, that's that line right there. And the reason we held that was because it's infinitely more costly to go underneath Pauley Pavilion and try to build underneath the existing facility. We would have had to take all the seating out, we would have had to take all the concrete out, and that was a lot more expensive. So by bringing this about 70 feet away from the court, we now had a clear space to dig this hole and put our infrastructure in. And then I'll show you downstairs how we connected the two. And it adds some drama to them walking from the locker room to the court. It's pretty cool. Right now, this is not public access. This is the back of the house. This is where athletics does their thing. We'll walk back that way in a second when I take you through the locker room. This is the official locker room. We always love to put them right next to our locker room. It's a home court advantage. Okay. And this is that hallway I was telling you that connects the court to our locker room. So it's about a 70-foot walk. What we will have on the left side of this wall, the right side of the other wall, this will be sort of a wall of fame. Everyone who's been in the pros, everyone who's an All-American, retired jersey, to remind our players about the greatness of what they're about to walk on the court. You can do this hallway in 4.2 seconds. We just measured that out. So is that like? No. So this area here, you're walking into the men's locker room. The women's locker room is the exact same configuration on the other side. So the first thing you walk into is our player lounge. So this area, which has about a 3/4 height wall on this side has, it's going to have a major big screen TV, has a counter for computers, so they can come down here and do their schoolwork. Also has some cushy couches. This is their place to sort of chill out. This is their hangout place. And then when it's time to get down to business, they come over on this side of the wall. And I'll show you the lockers that we have set. They're cherry wood lockers. There's 20 of them in here. This will be, again, a wood ceiling that comes in to remind them of the motif of what we're doing throughout the building. This light fixture that we have up here is in the shape of a basketball and it will illuminate like a basketball. It will show its shape. And it comes down to this wall here, which is all about teachable moments. This is where Coach does his thing. There'll be a TV up there so they can do some replays or do some teachable moments on video. And then the restrooms and all the...
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
This is the trainer's room. Doctors and trainers will be here. This is an amphitheater that we have, 24 seats. You can go in there if you want. 24 seats, leather seats, projection TV coming from the back wall.
Just for team video sessions?
Team video sessions.
Oh, wow.
So when I showed Corey Close this, Coach Close, she was thrilled because her method, as I was telling you, this building is fully wired.
Yeah.
So everything that they shoot on the court goes back to the main server. They come in here, they dial up whatever they want. And so if it was just something that they ran on the court, they'll come over here and they'll show them what they did. If they didn't do it right, they run out and do it again. So her issue is, and it's, I guess it's for every coach, it makes sense, it's all about economy of time. And so if they can get the repetition out where kids are seeing stuff, get back to it right, come back here, see it. As you're doing it right, there's an impression made. So the whole economy of time is, this having proximity to the court is really important.
This is new.
Oh, yeah. We used to do it in the locker rooms, right? Used to do film in the locker rooms. Yeah. Just last week. Yeah.
I couldn't frame it in my head last Friday when you were saying it.
So if you look up, we're right at center court basically. If you look up, you're seeing the big screen TV will be up there. It's a very cool presentation that we think we've designed for this. There is a motif in Pauley Pavilion. Obviously, we're trying to get our colors out there. So the gold, different shades of gold. The soffit built with a different intent as well. One of the things that the coaches were talking about, you can't hear the crowd in the place. This is now designed that if people are yelling in the upper level, that noise bounces down. If we have a concert in here and the noise is emanating from the bottom going up, there's a acoustic wall on the back that will absorb the sound. So hopefully it works both ways. Again, the LED board goes around the top, the big hustle boards on the corner. What this does for us corporately too, we'll have more video on this place. They'll be in the upper ring, they'll be in the four corners like we used to have. They'll be on the scoring table. There'll be another one on this side. So we also have the ability corporately to have what we call a moment of exclusivity, which is if we want to put a product name up there, it's all at one time. Everything goes down, product name goes up, it has much more value to an end user, and then we go back to the game stats and we're back to business. That's the beauty of that control room. We can run every TV, every video from a single place. What else? We talked about the tube.
What do you think, Ty?
Oh, it's exciting. It's exciting.
You're gonna get your picture up there, right? They're talking about.
Hey, I don't know. You guys.
No, come on.
I don't know.
We're gonna have to make sure you get your picture up there.